Two nerds went to college and found each other in the English department basement and became instant friends. 8 years and 3 degrees later, they're reunited. You're listening to Book Club, the movie, the podcast.
Everyone, and welcome to Book Club, the movie, the podcast, where we read, watch, and discuss books and their film adaptations. I'm your host, Jen.
And I'm your other host, Em.
We hope you read the book.
But if you didn't, here's the summary.
Okay.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, So, synopsis. First of all, if you are listening to this and you are not in high school, stop. Go outside and play, and come back when you're at least 15. If you somehow got through high school without reading Romeo and Juliet, DM us right now and tell us how. But for those of us who read it in high school, here's a quick refresher on Romeo and Juliet. It's a Shakespearean tragedy about two young lovers named Romeo and Juliet.
No way.
They are each from opposing, feuding Italian families, the Montagues and Capulets. The plot is based on a story originally written by Matteo Bandello in the mid-1500s. Shakespeare borrowed heavily from this original tale, but expanded the plot and developed supporting characters, and first published the play in 1597. I think I didn't know that it was originally based on a story by someone else, but that doesn't actually surprise me.
All of his stuff was borrowed heavily from other things. That's just life and
it
art.
Makes sense.
It's what it is.
Yeah. Nothing's original. So
no.
But I feel like everybody today is like, well, everything goes back to Shakespeare. And I'm like, well, no, it doesn't, because none of Shakespeare's stuff is original.
There were people telling stories before him too.
Right. So
I think all stories borrow heavily from this one old guy who sat at the mouth of the cave and wouldn't let you come inside to go to bed or eat dinner until you listened to just one thing he thought of. His name was Grog, and he had onion breath or something.
And when he died, someone replaced him.
I think one of the things with Shakespeare, and I definitely didn't appreciate this in high school at all, but Shakespeare's hilarious. Shakespeare is so damn funny. And it's just so hard to appreciate it unless you're reading one of the modernized versions of the script, right? And I feel like the humor in his plays don't really get transferred well at all to the movies. I feel like people aren't, I don't know, it should have been a whole lot funnier than it was. Claire Danes, beautiful, has a pretty funny face. She could have been hilarious.
Right.
And she wasn't. Nobody was. It was not a funny movie.
Yeah, so Claire Danes, who played Juliet in the 1996 Romeo plus Juliet, I
think the full title was William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet.
Oh, is that true?
I think so.
I just thought it was the Romeo plus Juliet, which is a very chic way of writing it.
I'm looking. I might have just been making that up because I really, really... Okay, what the hell? No, it is Romeo plus Juliet. Whatever. I don't know what I'm talking about. I read the damn thing. I watched the movie and a whole bunch of other movies. Whatever. Anyway, Shakespeare's funny. I liked the scene where... And this didn't even make it in the movie. Which, again, whatever. Anyway.
No, actually, on the what's it called? The cover image for the movie poster cover image thing?
Yeah.
There are a lot of guns. So, trigger warning, double entendre.
They're just a bunch of freaking 9mm.
There's a little William Shakespeare above the Romeo plus Juliet.
Whatever.
Maybe the plus sign is actually supposed to be a crosshair type of thing.
Guns, a love story.
Hey, that could have been a subtitle.
Guns, a love story starring children.
Right?
So good.
And their families. So, yeah, no, Shakespeare is actually very funny, and I think that's something that gets lost in translation a lot because
100%.
we're centuries later. We're a
Well, I
centuries
mean,
later audience.
that and there's nothing funnier than having a joke explained to you of why it's funny. But I kind of gave like a little huh, like that kind of laugh, just you exhale and then a little bit of noise comes out. Uh it's at the very beginning of the play whenever Romeo and his buddy, whose name I don't remember. Anyway, Romeo and his friend, it doesn't matter.
Mercutio?
Anyway, yeah, there we go. He and Mercutio are like, let's go get something to eat. And then they go into a place to get food. And a guy comes up and he's like, hey, what's up? Are you literate? Basically. And Romeo's like, oh, I mean, like, kind of sometimes if I know the letters and the language. And the guy asking them if they want food and if they can read is just like, oh, you brave soul. Thank you for opening up to me about your illiteracy. That's funny. That's very funny. But again, I had to read the explanation because it's written in Elizabethan language and I don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Right. Right.
So it's not funny anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that's unfortunate because even in these modern retellings, and I don't really know if I count the 1996 version as a modern retelling because it's almost word for word. They've cut out a lot of it, but it's the exact same words, it's the exact same like language as in the play, which is not modern. So I frustratingly, while clutching my English degree to my chest, didn't understand what was going on.
Right.
And it wasn't funny, and they didn't try to make it funny, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. And I didn't catch the humor there, but after I watched Romeo plus Juliet, I watched the Stratford Festival like recorded production of the play.
Stage production?
Yeah, stage production
Yeah.
of the play. I mean, it's they're professional actors.
Leonardo DiCaprio is not a professional actor.
Well, no, I just mean to say that it's not like it's I mean, I'd never heard of the Stratford Festival before, but, like, pro
Yeah.
tip for teachers, like, I think it can be used as educational, like, material if you're like, "Oh, I don't wanna do, like, a movie." You can do a recording, a recorded stage production, by, professional stage actors that aren't film actors.
Who knows Shakespeare?
Like, I try to follow along with the script and watching
Mhm.
the film, I guess. They don't say every line, but they're pretty darn close to saying every line, but that scene
They really cut down the monologues.
well, in this instance, the Stratford
Yeah.
Festival, like, they cut down the monologues a little
Yeah.
bit, but they do say most of them. But
Mhm.
that scene in
Oh,
particular
yeah, no, I meant the movie did.
Oh, yeah, the movie for sure cuts down
Way
the
down.
monologues.
Thank God.
But, the scene that you're talking about specifically, like,
Yeah.
I totally got the humor there because the actors understood Shakespeare or had
Mhm.
maybe they didn't originally, but in
Mhm.
preparing for the play, someone explained it to them, thankfully.
It was just so hard to
So
listen to, oh my gosh, I don't remember, whatever, the redheaded one,
the
and
red
he had, like, a hardcore, like, bro accent,
like the with the pink
the
hair?
movie. Maybe it was
Like
Pink, I
he
don't
was a
remember.
relative of Romeo?
Yeah.
Um,
He was
not
really tall.
Benvolio.
I don't remember, it doesn't matter. Either way, it was so funny to hear, like, these super, like, poetic verses from Shakespeare come out of that mouth in that accent.
Yeah.
Like, it was God, the only thing I can think of is one of Juliet's lines, so it's like, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo?" Like, it was so it was so cringy. It was gross.
It was really cringy.
Not into it.
No,
Yeah.
it was
I asked
weird.
Jason if he wanted to watch it with me, and he said, "No, thank you," and then he left the apartment for, like, 3 hours.
Yeah, Adam was in another room all day.
Just so in case he wouldn't have to walk in on it. And
Yeah.
he likes Shakespeare. He actually genuinely likes it,
Oh.
and
Adam
he
does
didn't wanna
not.
watch it.
Yeah.
That's
He doesn't like it. He was not interested. If he wasn't away from home, he was in another room. So, yeah. Let's talk about Natalie Portman.
I love Natalie Portman so much.
Yeah. Would you have loved her playing Juliet in this movie across from Leonardo DiCaprio?
Not a snowball's chance in Texas. No, absolutely not. And I mean, she did get the job first. She was cast. She was going to play Juliet because at the time she was like 12 or 13, and Juliet is thought to be anywhere between 12 and 14, depending on how you Google it.
Right.
And she got the role and she like read really well and everything. And then they realized that baby Natalie Portman making out with a 22-year-old Leonardo
21.
DiCaprio doesn't matter.
Fair. Fully adult. Could legally drink.
It was going to be really, really gross.
Yeah.
And look like assault, which is totally fair. So Natalie Portman, they were like, hey, this is gross, right? And the 13-year-old Natalie Portman was like, yeah, it's really gross. I will bow out. Gross. So now we have Claire Danes, who I thought she was phenomenal in it, but I just like her anyway. And she still looked like young. But it's weird though, because Leonardo DiCaprio has always looked like a 15-year-old boy or a 45-year-old man, and there's almost no in between, in my own personal opinion. But I don't find him attractive and never have. So I think
there was a time where he I think was in his 30s and looked like he was in his 30s, and I think that's my Leo that I prefer.
I do not have a Leo that I like.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, and I don't even want to say that he's a good actor and yeah, he is.
He's a really good actor.
But
I don't want to say he's a good actor. Okay.
He plays the same character in every single movie that he's in, except for What's Eating Gilbert Grape. We've talked about this before. We've had this exact same conversation.
I don't think he plays the exact same character.
I think it's the exact same character, and that's fine because he does it really well.
I think he recycles a few characters, but he has maybe a limited range.
Yes.
But
what he has fits in so many roles. I just feel like he's nothing against him. It's just the same.
He's really great at being a lead white guy.
Yeah. We don't have enough of those.
Hey, he had to go through a lot of trials and tribulations to get his first Oscar or whatever, so.
Another thing that Shakespeare is really funny about is how it has translated into these more modern retellings and the way that we've changed things to make it make sense. And so I would like for you to tell me about the post-haste dispatch.
Yeah, so in the Romeo and Juliet 1996 version, right? So in the play, we've got the friar, Lawrence, who's sending Romeo this letter saying, spoiler alert, Juliet's not really dead. I just gave her some drugs to make her look dead for 4 and 20 hours, i.e. one day. So in the play, Friar John is the carrier of that note, and he's stopped along the way because he's been told that he's come into contact with someone with the plague. And so he's like, oh no, the plague. And he gets derailed or delayed.
Why didn't he just say, okay, that's fine. I will go sit in my room.
Let me put on a mask.
Will you please take this and deliver it to Romeo? I think it's important. Or something. Like, he was just like, okay. And then just...
Right. And then just like, well, I'm going to go die now. Like, I don't know.
He really dropped the ball. I think that's like second degree right there, like 2 counts.
But in the 1996 version, which I was a 95 baby, right? This movie came out when I was a year old. So I don't know what the world's relationship was with FedEx. So maybe this was really, really, really funny.
Well, we had like Castaway.
In 96. Oh, that's true. But anyway, so in 1996, they've got like this like mail carrier service called Post Haste Dispatch.
Okay, Castaway didn't come out till 2000, but still.
Yeah, I mean,
Still.
shit still gets lost in the mail in 2024 and
Yeah.
2023.
Yeah,
So
so Father Lawrence is trying to send Romeo mail, and it literally, what's the point of paying for it if they're not going to complete the delivery?
right, they just like stick this little note in Romeo's trailer and wherever he's exiled to. I forget the name of it.
Mantua.
Yeah, Mantua, and like
While you were
tumbleweeds,
out.
it blows out of the door crack, and then he doesn't notice it because he's out hitting rocks.
He's in the back playing in the dirt because he's a child.
Literally.
Because he's a child, an old child. He's an elderly child.
Like, well, he might be 21 in real life, but I think in the play he's supposed to be like 14 to Juliet's 12.
No, in the play, depending on which source you look at, it's either 17 or it's like 25. I swear to God.
Really?
Nobody can agree on it. No, he is way older than her.
14 or 16. Like,
no, he's like way older than her, which
okay.
makes it a satire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gross.
But again, it depends on the way you Google it.
Okay. Well, anyway, so we thought that was really great and really funny because we've all come home from work to those little sticky notes and we're like, why didn't you just leave it in the stupid deck box where it says leave my packages here?
Or it was tube socks. I spent $10 on a pack of socks. I just needed them. But if somebody stole them, I would have just reported it stolen and then I would have got my money back. But instead,
everybody pays for insurance now. Yeah.
Or, oh my God, okay, if I were retelling it, if I needed to come up with the reason why Romeo wasn't told and I wanted to steal it directly from this movie, I probably still would have used Post, but I would have made them like put it in like the lockers at the apartment complex, the parcel pending stuff, because literally anytime that I get a moderately sized box, they shove it into a really small locker and then the door gets stuck. And then I get to have little anxiety panics about it and cry in my bathroom because I can't get it open and nobody will help me. So I don't order dog food anymore. I just go pick it up. We're done with Chewy. I am done. But anyway, if I wanted to like just basically steal that, if I weren't doing the FedEx or the Post Haste Dispatch note, it would be like, oh, it's in parcel pending locker. And then he'd go over there and he would put in the numbers like 15 times in a row and the locker still won't open. And his apartment complex people in Mantua, where he has been exiled into a nice little apartment that has lockers they won't help him. They're like, you got to call parcel pending. And he's like, I called parcel pending. They said I need to talk to you. And they're like, no, you gotta call them. And then they'll walk you through it. They'll tell you the right way to kick the door open to maybe unstick it. And he's like, I've been kicking the door. Anyway, that's probably what I would have done.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's not funny to me. I hate it. God, this is stupid.
Okay.
Anyway.
Right.
Did you watch?
You watched so many things.
I watched quite a few things. I just really wanted to make sure that I had way too much stuff to edit later. We've used, as the human race, the world, we've used Romeo and Juliet everywhere for a whole bunch of different things. I feel like, we gave like the synopsis, but I don't think people have skipped over the synopsis. They didn't need to hear that. Everybody knows it. I would like to see more, or not a parody, a satire. That's the right word. It's a satire, and I would really like to see more satirical versions of it. The way that it was intended. I also watched Romeo and Juliet. So I watched Romeo and Juliet. I liked it. It wasn't bad. It wasn't good. I'll never watch it again, but it wasn't bad. And then I also watched West Side Story, which is another really famous retelling of Romeo and Juliet. And I skipped most of the songs because I just couldn't get into it. And another one, which I actually didn't realize that this was supposed to be a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, but Warm Bodies, the book came out in 2010, movie 2013. It's not a faithful adaptation at all. It takes a whole bunch of liberties with the retelling. It's about zombies. And surviving a zombie apocalypse and how that gets resolved and everything. The main characters are literally named Julie, like Juliet, Julie and R, which is the first letter in Romeo. And I didn't realize that this was a Romeo and Juliet
We
story.
both watched Rosalind. It's hard to know.
Okay, I've heard it pronounced like a million
Right.
different ways. I've heard it Rosalind, Rosaline, and I've also heard Rosalind, which I think is adorable. That's the one that I pick. And then Rosaline.
Okay. So we watched Rosalind.
Anyway.
Rosaline. How are we going to say it?
Let's call her Roz.
We watched Rosaline as well as Romeo plus Juliet, which is a film from 2022. Fun fact, I first watched this the first time I got COVID. So far, the only time I think I've gotten COVID. So that was a good time, but I was happy to rewatch it, and it was still just as good.
It's so cute and
it's really funny. It's really good.
It's considering that the focus is not on Romeo and Juliet, ignoring that really, really big part of what makes the movie what it is, it's a very faithful adaptation.
It really is. Yeah.
Like, it really, truly is.
And it flows really, really well and does a really great job of filling in a different part of the story and like imagining a version of the narrative where Romeo and Juliet don't die and then what it looks like when they have to live with one another.
Romeo and Juliet in the boat at the end of that movie where they're just like,
what do we do now?
Now what? What do we do now? We are teenagers and did not think this through. But yeah, so I did think it was really cool that the movie, we got to see it through a secondary female character.
Because if
we don't get enough of that.
If anyone recalls in the play, Romeo is all out of sorts in love with Rosaline at the beginning of Romeo and Juliet. And that's who he is, head over heels, can't live without. That's who he's crying about under the grove of sycamore until he goes to this Capulet ball. Right? Yeah, he's a Montague. Until he's invited to this secret not secret Capulet ball, but he's invited to this well, he's not invited, but
he crashes a party.
He is a ball crasher.
Hey, Romeo, do you want to crash my balls?
We both need more sleep. Anyway, until he crashes the Capulet ball. And
crashes the Capulet's balls. Anyway, 32-year-old adult recording a podcast in my walk-in closet with two big dogs and laughing about balls.
Anyway, so it's really funny because I completely forgot that he was all hung up on Rosalind until watching the movie, reading it again, being re-exposed to it this time around. Did not realize that was a thing, even when I watched the movie in 2022. But again, I did have COVID. So there was that. But
well, because that's part of the joke. That's part of the joke of the entire story that Bill wrote.
I was like, who's Bill? I was like, oh yeah.
That is the whole point the old Billy was trying to make. And nobody uses that. Like, it's hilarious and it just doesn't.
Right. Because he was so hung up on her and then just dropped her like a hat, which who of us on the call here listening in has felt like that has happened to us where we're Roz in this situation. We had a guy on the line. You were always Juliet?
I always broke up with them before they could break up with me every single time. But I've never been broken up with. I always got to it first.
Wow.
Thank you, Grandma.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not talking about them breaking up with you. I meant more like the crush stage. of
I had a
feeling
crush on
like
literally
you're
everybody.
flirting and things are going well, because that's how I see Rosalind and
Mhm.
Romeo. Like, that's where they were, right? There's that
Yeah,
infatuation. Will they, won't they? They're
and
not
he
quite
was looking to
dating
get
yet,
married.
right? But like, was he? And then he stumbled upon Juliet, and it's like, that's what the kids did back then. They just got married. It didn't mean as much.
Secretly, with no
Anyway,
plan.
yeah. So the mortality rates were higher. He had to get married sooner.
You only live once, and statistically not for very
Divorce
long.
rates were at 0 because like it wasn't allowed. I don't know. Paul Rudd, little baby Paul Rudd. He plays Count Paris. Count
Paris.
Paris.
He plays, which Paris is like my favorite character out of Rosalind.
Yeah, because
Out of Roz.
yeah.
Roz the movie.
Um,
Yeah, he's so he's it's just perfect. The I don't want to marry a woman.
yeah.
Which, I mean, I'm like, dude, people got married. It's a business thing. It's
Totally
not
transactional
back
back
then.
then.
It's just a transactional thing. It's business, right, buddy? So you just do it to make sure that you're taken care of and that she's taken care of. And then I feel like a lot of the time people were just kind of continuing with their own extramarital affairs
And that was like
as they
expected,
saw fit.
probably.
Yeah,
As long
it's
as she
just it's fine.
didn't have any babies or as long as the women didn't
Who
have any
would
babies.
know?
Like, men were probably, it was cool. It was fine to have a few bastards.
Oh, all the time, all the time.
So Paul Rudd would have been Claire Danes' love husband
Mhm.
interest on this.
Mhm.
Um,
And he was so
he
cute.
was.
Little 1996 Paul Rudd, and like whenever they were dancing at the balls that Romeo crushed, whenever he, just because it was so funny too, because it had like the beautiful like aria playing in the background, and they were like fucking boogieing down,
Mhm.
which didn't match at all. It was awesome.
In Romeo plus Juliet, Leonardo DiCaprio was like, I don't know, man. Like, my agent said something about this movie about the Titanic that I've been offered a
Who
role
cares about
in.
boats?
Who cares? I don't know if I should do it.
I don't think he was even like, who cares about it, but he was just like, question mark.
Yeah. He's like, nah. And Paul Rudd's like, you
Yeah.
need to do this movie. The Titanic's important. And
Well, because like his dad was just like a history buff and knew and talked about, that was his special interest. Was like the
Paul Rudd's
Titanic.
dad. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that cute? That's why
Adorable.
Paul Rudd's cute. It's because his dad's
Well, he has
cute.
like normal parents, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Romeo and Juliet, love story or satire? Ready, set, go.
Which one are we talking about?
Well, you go. Is it a
Okay.
love story or a satire?
I think if we're talking about the original play, what it was supposed to be, this is a satire. Satires can also be sad, satires can also be tragedies, or whatever. This is satire. This is a joke. This is a big, long joke making fun of people and the idea of love at first sight. That's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's real love, right? Like, there's
No.
nothing, there's no substance there. They
Mm-mm.
don't know each other. They haven't had time to know each other. They're too young to have. They're too young and too naive to have developed.
Well, she's definitely too young, and it's debatable as to how much too young he is.
Honestly, even if he's 25.
They're both stupid.
Yeah.
They're both making really, they need actual adults. They need real supervision.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
love, real love, true love is multifaceted. And
The only one looking out for like reality and like their best interest was Tybalt. Look what happened to him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Benvolio too, but in the play he also
Sure.
dies.
I don't even remember Benvolio. I don't remember ever reading that. No, I remember it. Oh, wait, no, Benvolio. He was on the
Montague, he's
was he
Romeo's cousin who tries to keep the peace in the
that was
gas
the
station
that was
scene.
was that the beefy guy that I was talking about, where he's like the palest pale that ever paled, and you see his chest a lot?
I don't know how beefy he is. He has, like, blonde hair.
No, like not like beefy as in like strong. I just mean like he was a large, not, and I don't mean like overweight either. I hated this movie. I hope I never watch it again.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm glad I've never seen it before. I can
I
totally see
hate
why there's
it.
kind of a cult following on it, because there were
I
some
don't.
scenes and shit where I'm like, "Oh, that's why you're a little bit, like, iconic." I get it. Like, there were some things where I'm like, "Oh, I feel like I've seen this on Tumblr before." Um,
I
but
don't think he was in the movie at all. I don't see him.
who?
Benvolio.
He was he was Tybalt's equivalent for the Montagues.
I don't think that's true. I can't find him. Oh my god. Oh, but I forgot that nurse. Juliet's nurse is played by oh my god. Oh my god. She's hilarious. Miriam Margolyes. She played Professor Sprout in the Harry Potter movies. And now she just does stuff with BBC, and she's just this cute old lady. I love her so much. Who's Benvolio, and why can't I find him?
I will send you a picture. I don't know why you're having such trouble, because I just typed in
I
Benvolio
know.
and
Oh,
Romeo and
okay.
Juliet.
Who the hell is Dash Mihawk? Okay, that's who I'm talking about.
Are you okay?
No, I'm not okay. That's the thesis statement of this episode. I'm not okay. Yeah, his accent, and also Leonardo DiCaprio's accent in this movie just cracked me the F up. I could not handle it. It took me out of something I didn't want to be in already. So they didn't even have to be that bad. But just Leonardo DiCaprio's accent in this movie made me Google what part of the Midwest is he from, because it just sounded like such a dorky drawl. He's literally from Hollywood. Why does he talk like that? Is that a Californian accent? What is happening? I am
I didn't
confused.
notice any accents on anyone except for Juliet's mom. It sounded like she was talking with the country drawl, but everybody
That's
else
fine.
was just like speaking Victorian. Like, it didn't sound like they had accents. It's just that they were saying Victorian like words. So
I feel like my
didn't.
list of things that I hate just really kind of bleeds over into everything else, because I just did not enjoy the movie at all. And I watched it twice in one day.
That's probably why you hated it so much. I mean, I hated it too, but I only watched it once, and you could not have paid me enough money to watch it another time. Well,
No, you could pay me.
you could
It wouldn't even take that much money. I would do it. I have
you
bills.
could pay me money to watch it a second time, but it would take a bit. I'm not cheap.
It would be more than a Benjamin.
Yeah, probably for me too.
More than a single solitary Benjamin. I'm trying
Yeah.
to but I mean, like, I got into it watching it, and I'm like, you're not going to enjoy this, Emily, but you're probably the problem. So give it a chance. And I think there's some truth to that
Yeah.
statement.
I will say I did chuckle.
We just agreed.
I did chuckle a little bit when the Capulet, Lord and Lady Capulet, are in the limo, and he goes, "Throw me my longsword, ho!" And it's pretty early in the film, and I did that got a chuckle.
I know.
And
Yes.
yeah, so, but the chuckles were few and far between.
The only time that I, like, kind of laughed, and again, it wasn't a real laugh, was whenever they were in the elevator and they were making out, and he was saying Shakespeare words at her, and she was saying Shakespeare words back at him. And he was like, "Yes, this is love." And she's like, "I don't know, boy." And then the door opens, and then she goes out, and then he comes and grabs her, and then her mom's there, and she's very drunk. Everybody's just trashed. However many sheets to the wind. and however that goes. And then they just jump back into the elevator, and then her mom's like, Juliet, because her mother just screams the whole movie. Does not ever say her name normal once. She just screams Juliet. And then they just bounce back in there, and her mom screams Juliet right as the doors close again. And I don't know why. That tickled me a little bit.
All right.
Like, not even like a lot, but I was just kind of like the doors closed, and I went, huh. There were a lot of things that I did not like about this movie. There were so many things that I didn't like. I'm sorry,
it was
Bill.
really cringy. I don't think you have to apologize to Bill. I think you have to apologize to Baz.
I mean, nah, he knew what he was doing. I think I don't really necessarily... I don't know. I just think of all of like the spiritual like royalties that William Shakespeare is owed after everything that has been done to his genuinely funny for the time play.
Fair. And he's like, you idiots couldn't even translate this shit.
You couldn't translate it, or when you did translate it, you did it wrong. Like, the
Right.
people on stage, they're doing great. I don't think plays make as much money as movies do, though. So, no.
No, they probably don't.
They definitely don't. 100 theaters are closing everywhere.
There were a lot of Hawaiian shirts. Was that a 1996 thing?
I don't know, but I really didn't like it. I didn't like, because like it's Leonardo DiCaprio, and he's like, you know, a squiggly little scrawny guy, and he's supposed to be like so beautiful, and he's putting on a Hawaiian shirt, and it's just not attractive. It did nothing for nobody. And then also whenever Friar Lawrence was like just shirtless with the choir boys, which I'm like, I know it's the 90s, but we know, don't do that. Don't put that on the screen. We don't want to see that. We don't want to insinuate that. That's going to be with this movie forever. So he's just standing there shirtless, and it's like, oh, how could this get any worse? Well, let me tell you, he puts on a Hawaiian shirt.
So, funny story about that actor. I mean, not about the actor, but for me in that actor.
Who is that actor?
I think his name is Peter. Peter.
I can't say
Postlethwaite or something.
Yeah.
Is that Postlethwaite?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I totally thought that he was the butler in Parent Trap. They kind of look similar.
Like what? Like the first Parent Trap?
No, in the Lindsay Lohan Parent Trap.
There was a butler in the Lindsay Lohan one?
Yeah. He does
Who
the
was
handshake.
the butler?
Martin, the James family's butler, who falls in love with Chessie.
Simon Coons?
Yeah.
I assumed that it was going to be, oh my gosh, what is his name? He joked about it whenever he guest starred on American Dad, The Princess Diaries. He plays a concierge like everywhere. Oh my God. Hold on. Why are we doing a podcast about movies if we don't know who the hell anybody is?
I don't know. I'm really bad with actors' names. Like, really bad. I'm not so bad with their faces.
I'm really bad at faces too. I think I have mild facial blindness. I am not going to lie. Anyway, I was thinking of Hector Elizondo.
Oh. Well, no, I was thinking I was like, oh, it's the butler from The Parent Trap. But no, that is Simon Coons, who looks like he could be his brother or something. Anyway, so Peter Postlethwaite has a little bit more harsher of a face than Simon Coons, but they do look very similar, I think. Similar-ish.
Do you know who else looks related?
Who?
Who else looks related that was in this movie? In the 1996 version of Romeo and Juliet.
Leo and Claire look like they could be brother and sister, and it's weird.
Or
and
cousins.
On a bad day, they look like they're siblings, like same mom, same dad. On a really good day, they could be first cousins.
First cousins, but their dads are like identical twins. They look like they share a lot of DNA. I think it's the nose. I don't
Yeah.
know. They look related. They look
Yeah,
related.
it's really weird.
That's both a thing that I hate and also a thing that I love because that makes it more of a comedy.
Yeah, it's really well, but it's not a comedy because it's like they didn't call it out. They didn't call attention to it
They did not.
or
They did not make it
no, like
funny.
I think
No.
it's your duty when something like that happens, you've got to like do something, you know? And the
Play into it.
aquarium scene, they could have done something with it. Anyway, so
No. Actually, the way that they filmed the aquarium scene, because I care way more about like the making of things than the things themselves sometimes, uh the lights that were actually in the aquarium were the only lights used to light that entire scene.
Oh.
Uh the lighting director like really struggled with it cuz any other lights and stuff, any studio things that they would normally use caused like a really bad glare, and then you either couldn't see Leo or you couldn't see Claire, and it was just chaos, and he was like going bald by the minute. It was driving him nuts, right? Uh and so they ended up sticking like tube lights in the bottom of the aquarium, and then that worked, and they're like, "Okay, dope." So that's how that scene happened, and that's great. I didn't like the Catholic iconography either because it just felt so forced, and I guess I just didn't like it was right next to the Hawaiian shirts, and it was making their 9mm just look really fruity and just not I didn't like it.
it was
I
I
don't
don't know
know.
what those big statue things were. Like, I don't understand.
It kept showing like I don't okay, so that made me think whenever I first started watching it, I'm like, is this supposed to take place in a fictional version of Brazil? Because that looks like Christ on the Mount.
Oh,
That statue in Rio de Janeiro.
yeah, maybe.
What was that? Why did they show it every other scene constantly? That was like they were like, "Oh, you remember how in like Huckleberry Finn and how like the river was its own character? What if we did a weird Wish version of Christ on the Mount and that'll be a character in the movie?"
It was really weird. Anyway.
It was weird, and it was just it was a lot of filler. It's like I know that they wanted to make the movie exactly 2 hours long to match the opening
Mhm.
monologue from the chorus, which I did like that part, how they had the chorus read as if a TV report.
That was
I
really
liked that.
smart.
That's cool.
That was clever.
That's a smart way of modernizing it and everything. But in the very, opening lines is like, "This is a 2-hour play. You're in this for 2 hours." And I'm like, "We're in this for 2 hours." And I think in order to make it that long, they just kept showing that damn statue. I didn't like that. I know that like Catholicism was a thing in the play too, because that was most of what was going on Christianity wise and everything. I don't know. I just know that nowadays, if you want to get married in the Catholic Church, they make you go to classes first. So I think Friar Lawrence was just not good at his job.
Right. I mean, also in the
So
late 1500s, it could have been different. I don't know. Like,
sure. But this happened in 1996.
well,
So
but they didn't change
mm,
the
mm,
the lines. They didn't
mm.
change the dialogue. Okay. So, what didn't make the cut?
Too many things were left in, I think. I could have done with less of this movie. I don't know why we picked this movie. Why didn't we just do
Well, I
Rosalind?
think we picked this movie because I hadn't seen it at all, and I think it'd been a while since you'd seen it.
Yeah, and I hadn't seen it before. I'd only ever seen the last
Oh.
scene. I wouldn't say that I dislike the movie as a whole. I just am never going to watch it
I
ever
probably
again.
won't either. I might make a drinking game out of it someday. Like, if other people wanted to do that, I would do that. I would join. But yeah, I wouldn't do that on my own. I don't drink alone. I don't like alcohol that much, personally. Okay, so what didn't make the cut? So in the play, Romeo kills Paris, Count Paris, i.e., Paul Rudd's character,
Mhm.
outside of Juliet's tomb, and then drags him in. So there's 3 of them in there.
Paris gets stabbed, and Paris is like, "Oh my god, just let me die by her." And Romeo's like, "Okay, I just killed you, but sure. I love Juliet more, but I'm okay with you being a third wheel.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Paris is like outside of Juliet's tomb, like mourning. And then Romeo comes up and is like, this is my girl. And Count Paris is like, no, 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 no. I'm mourning her. And Romeo's like, I'll fight you. Actually, I don't know who starts it. Anyway, they fight. Romeo wins by killing Count Paris.
He is an expert swordsman,
I guess.
but he has like no social skills.
But in both Rosaline and in Romeo plus Juliet, Count Paris gets to live. Yay.
In Romeo and
Yeah.
Juliet, Paris is just this like adorable little cutesy gnome with glasses, and he's a dork. And Lord Capulet is like, oh, Juliet, here's this guy. He's great. And then her nurse is played by like a frog figurine that sprays water. And so Frog Lady was like, that he can hit it. And so then she falls in love with dorky gnome Paris so that Juliet can go run around and be a wild child.
Nice. Way to go, nurse.
Yeah. So Romeo and Juliet left that part in.
That's good. That's good.
At least. Yeah. I don't remember Benvolio, so you need to talk about him because I don't know.
So in the play, Benvolio dies off scene.
Yeah.
But in both movies, like, he doesn't die at all. So that's great. And then in the movies, well, so in Rosaline, like, a lot of the monologues aren't included because it's mostly from Rosaline's like point of view perspective. So let's not make a moot point. But in Romeo and Juliet, the movie, a lot of the monologues were cut down to just like one or two lines, or kind of the meat and potatoes of the line. So we got the gist, but
the meat and
not
potatoes,
the full monologue. So they did you a favor there, kids.
I always seem to take issue with like the most nitpickiest of things. So at the very end of the play, spoiler alert, they die. Romeo takes poison, which he takes poison in the play,
he gets
right?
It from Friar John in the play, but in the movie, he gets it from the like billiards hall attendant, sketchy dude.
He just gets it from some guy. And I'm like, how do you know he didn't give you sugar water? How do you know that this is just some guy?
I mean, we do see him earlier in the movie when they're out shooting pool or whatever, but I don't know how Romeo knew to go to him to get poison. Like,
I don't know. They knew where to get ecstasy in the 90s. I assume that means that they also know where to get their poison from. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to argue with it. Anyway, nitpicky things that I tend to look at is like, okay, what are entrance wounds and exit wounds going to look like with the particular weapons that they're using? Or would they really have died that way? I don't know what's wrong with me. I just have to Google it. I have to know. And so at the end of the play, Juliet stabs herself, right?
Because there's no more poison left. She kisses Romeo's lips and he's left no more poison on them for her. But he has his dagger. And so that's what she uses. Yeah.
So I'm like, listen, knowing what I know with all of my family in medicine, and they've all been like ER, like not, oh my gosh. They've all been EMTs, etc., etc., etc. It takes a lot of stabs to die from a stab wound. So, I mean, for play's sake, that's at least like dramatic. Fine, that's great. But shooting yourself in the head with a 9mm handgun is not a romantic way to die. You know? That's not pretty. And we didn't get the scene where everybody comes into the tomb for some reason again to be like, oh, there's 3 bodies here now or 2 bodies here now. We don't have that. That wasn't, the movie just ended with like a bird's eye panning out view of them being dead and beautiful together, right? And I'm kind of like, it would be a lot grosser than that. It's not, sure, it's like romantic or whatever, but I live in reality and I feel like it would have been really gross it would have been more than like a few beautiful little splatters of
You
blood.
needed a Quentin Tarantino ending, not a Baz Luhrmann ending scene?
Yes. Anyway, so many guns. I did kind of like, though, with the guns, how at every party they had to like check their guns, like put them away. And the like at the very beginning, whenever Mercutio and Leonardo DiCaprio are leaving the movie, not the movie. Oh my word! I need to go to bed. They're leaving the party, and the sign on the little tent says "No ticket, no gun."
Yeah, that's pretty cute.
I liked that.
Yep. So yeah,
Yeah.
all in all, not a whole lot was left out of the movies, or especially like Romeo and Juliet, because probably, most likely, because a play, adapts to the screen a lot better than a book. You know, the play was only like, I don't know, 40
Yes.
pages or so.
I don't know. I was like, whenever I had to like read the whole thing, which I didn't read the whole thing. I was Googling like, how long does it take the average person to read this play? One source said it'll take 3 hours if you're doing this many words per minute. And I'm like, cool, I am a good but slow reader. So I looked, and others were like longer, like I think it's more than 40
I guess my
pages.
copy doesn't have like footnotes really, like it's just the play.
Yeah. Mine had, I told him, go find me one with footnotes. I sent Jason out into the world. I said, I need to read this damn book because we're supposed to be recording this weekend. And then turns out we didn't
The
record then.
audiobook was 3
I
hours.
mean, it's...
And then the play that I watched that covered like every line, they cut down like, I don't know, they probably cut like 10 lines from the whole thing because I followed right along, was like 2.5 hours.
Okay, most of this is play.
It's not that long.
Yeah.
If you can force yourself to stick with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like 5 acts. It's not short.
No.
It's not a short play
Yeah.
either. It's play length, whatever that is.
Right.
But they didn't have to cut out a whole lot for the movie. Obviously, with Rosalind, they cut out all of it.
Right. Well,
Basically.
it's not about Romeo and Juliet. It's about Rosalind, which we don't really get to see her at all because she's not at the Capulet ball for some reason.
She's not even in the play. She's just mentioned, isn't she?
No, she's just mentioned, and then they tease her about it, or tease Romeo about it.
I tease him too, dumbass. So I have to ask, are you, Jen, a play nerd or a movie buff?
I'd have to say I am a movie buff, but explicitly for Rosalind, not Romeo and Juliet, the movie. And I'm certainly not a play nerd for the play. So, are you a play nerd or a movie buff?
Okay, I am never, no offense to Shakespeare, no offense to my English teachers, no offense to anybody, but I don't think I'm ever going to read the play again. I just don't see it happening. I don't think I'm ever again. Like, I'm going to go take this book back to Half Price Books, I think. I don't know if they do returns. If they don't do returns, Thrift Books now has a beta version of Sell Your Own Books. We'll do that. Or I don't know. I'm never going to read it again. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
I will never watch the 1996 version again. If I'm ever with my nephew or my niece, and they're watching Romeo and Juliet, I will probably pause in the room and watch it a little bit because it wasn't bad. It was very silly, but it was fine. I would never put it on again. I really like Rosalind, but I don't know if I'm ever going to need to watch that again either. I abstain, I think.
A zero, like a no vote? Are you even allowed to do that?
Okay, Hawaiian shirt to the head. I will be a movie buff, and I will pick Rosalind.
Okay.
Did you like that?
I
don't think I would have been able to come up with that if I had more sleep.
That's the caption.
No, we can't put it in a caption because if anybody makes it this far into the episode, they need to have a good joke.
Thank you for listening to Book Club,
The movie, the podcast. Watch for new episodes out the third Thursday of each month.
You can find us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen.
Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Book Club the Movie. You can also find us on Patreon, Facebook, or on our website, bookclubthemovie.com.
This podcast was created and produced by Jen Moyer and M. Lord. Our music and mixing is by Jason Lord of Studio Topaz.
Voice acted by Ethan Gallardo.
And we just want to give a big thank you to our friends and family for your love and support.
And thank you, dear listener, for joining our book club.
See you next time, nerds.
And buffs.
Bye.
I mean, yeah, in a game of marry, fuck, kill, you marry Paul Rudd.
You fuck Paul Rudd.
No,
Also.
you
And
marry.
then you killed Leonardo DiCaprio.
We have to have a third person thrown in there.
No, Paul Rudd can do both of those. He's that versatile.